me and my brother, friend, two friends, we were all partying out in the country, and on our way into town, we rolled off a bridge at 80 miles an hour. And I now know for sure that never do that or try that again.
A parent's worst nightmare. You never expect it to happen to you. You always read about it in the paper, hear about it on the news. And for it to actually happen to you, there's just no words to describe it. I mean, my whole body was in shock. I mean, not only one son injured, but two sons. I asked him if my oldest son was okay. He stated yes, that he was going to be arraigned for DWI, driving under the influence of alcohol. Faron was being airlifted to airvac to McKinnon Hospital and with life-threatening injuries, and I'm thinking a broken leg. Never did I expect to see my son in the condition he was in. I think the ICU was probably the worst in the whole deal, for the simple fact that he made it through the first 24 hours, which was critical. So I'm thinking, the surgeon says if he makes it through the night, it's a miracle. He said, you know, I asked him to be honest with me. I said, don't hold nothing back. And he was honest. He said, I believe your son will die before morning. So for 19 days it took before he went from critical to stable. And then, I mean, for almost 3 weeks, his life was in God's hands. I personally struggle. One day I'm happy-go-lucky. The next evening, I can see Faron when he was 17, when he was normal, had everything going for him, go on his way to college for engineering. That was his dream, to be an architect and engineer. And today, knowing that it's gone, me giving up everything I had financially to save Faron and to get him therapy. My biggest fear is if I was killed tomorrow, what would happen to Faron? Who would take care of him? You know, that's the biggest concern I have. My oldest son does the best that he can. He loves his brother. He'll just say, Mom, if I could go back and take that night back, I would do it in a heartbeat. I would take my brother's place today. Every parent wants to believe it can't happen and it won't happen. Talk to your kids. Do the best that you can. Make the attempt. Make the effort. It just doesn't pay to drink and drive. And if you think it can happen to you or it won't happen to you, I'm here to tell you, don't take that gamble because you will lose.
We don't even have words in the English language to talk about how to define a parent who has lost a child. We can talk about husbands who have lost their wives as widowers and women who have lost their husbands as widows. We can talk about children who have lost their parents as orphans. And what word do we have for a parent who has lost a child? There is no word in the English language to describe that. To lose a child is so painful, and to feel that maybe if I had had that conversation, maybe if we had talked about drinking and driving, maybe if we had talked about consequences, maybe.
Tana Thompson was my girlfriend. We had went to school and grew up in the same town. At the time of the accident, we'd been together 4.5 years. We had planned a life together, and you know, she was, besides losing her as my girlfriend, I lost my best friend. We were just on the verge of beginning the next chapter in our lives, and one night cost all of us, took away our future. I take the blame because I had choices that night, but I made a foolish choice, and that's what happened to me. It wasn't some fluke accident. It was caused by alcohol. I had a couple run-ins with the law when I was underage. I had tickets. I had to go to alcohol classes. I saw movies of people, what would happen to them with drinking and driving, but that didn't leave enough of an effect on me. You know, I think of where I would be today had that night, one night not happened, and it's kind of depressing to think about all the things I lost and all the experiences in life I missed out on just because of that. And like I said, I'm not blaming anybody besides myself, because I was there. It was my own free will. And not only do I wish I wasn't in the vehicle, but I wish that I would have taken the responsibility not to drink. But if you put yourself in that position, the odds greatly increase. And it makes it even more of a shame that something like this happens when it could have been prevented by making responsible choices. You can't get backing somebody that you've lost, and I can't go back and give my mother and my family all those years that they've had to take care of me. That's a shame that alcohol took that away from all of us, not just me. That was something that I didn't realize at first when I was completely self-absorbed and thinking that my life was awful. I didn't realize how much it really affected those around me. And my mother always says, she's got one of the purest hearts I know, that they still have me. Tana's parents don't have her. Isn't the fact that my hands don't work, or that I can't walk, or that my mother, bless her heart, has been through so much, but she would agree with me as well. The hardest part of all this is losing Tana.